So, hi,
Hi,
we're back.
we are.
Uh-huh.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Kaylee in Discord actually, and she was like, I am 100% in support of this thing that you guys are doing, this whole we may never show up again thing.
Mm.
Like, this could be the last episode ever. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Because,
totally in support of that.
yeah, I mean, why actually set expectations for the peoples? Then
No,
you actually have to meet them.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Things like, we published the second episode, right?
Yeah. Just barely.
On a Monday.
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be Saturday.
So whatever. You get it when you get it. We're exactly that. We're not setting any unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
We will get it out there within a weekish of
Yeah.
the last one. Unless we just don't do another one. That's why I love the Buy Forever thing.
Yeah, that's what Kaylee was talking about. As
Yeah.
far as the getting them out in a proper amount of time, I mean, we totally have to do that because, the first episode that we filmed, by the time we actually got it up, we're all talking about Maddie Healy and Taylor Swift, and they had broken up
Right.
by the time we got it out. So it's like, this is no longer relevant information. And then I was having to put in little, info cards in the actual video during the edits when we were talking about Illuminati because, she had just filed the one cease and desist at that
Right.
point.
Right.
And she since then had filed another. So it's important to get them out in a timely manner.
See, I agree with that. We shouldn't sit on something for 2 weeks before we publish it. But there's a fine line because I also really enjoyed those little editorial info cards. Like, no, this was actually wrong. Because we're probably going to do that a lot too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I could do those for other fun things. And my time isn't having to be spent on just editing for, accuracy,
Right. Just
because
trying to
something.
clean up our gray area facts.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, 2 episodes in, got the first one down.
We've made it, yeah. Third time's a charm, I hope.
Yeah. A charm for what?
It being easier to get them published.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope for that.
Yeah. There have been some interesting hurdles.
You've learned all kinds of stuff about audio.
I have, yeah.
You are currently learning editing software, and you think that you're going to try your hand at the edits.
Yeah, so I should address that. In the first episode, I said something about, knowing what I'm doing with audio. Turns out I didn't know nearly as much as I remembered knowing. I'd not touched it in years, and I'm using the same software that I used when I did touch it a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. Forgot everything, and nothing worked. And it was hours and days to make that, serviceable. So I take that back. Audio is not my bag. It's better now, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you did a great job on it. It's just the whole how long it's taking and everything. It's kind of a time suck because you have a real job, And
Yeah.
so the audio is something that we can't be spending all kinds of time on. Otherwise, it just gets, well, that becomes our whole life. So we're working on it, figuring it out.
For a podcast, we're not sure we're going to ever do another episode of. It can't consume your life.
Yeah, it should be fun and not stressful because that's the whole point of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, you're holding a Dumbo.
I am holding the Dumbo. We have a friend here too.
Oh, we do. Look at that.
Mhm.
I didn't even notice that there was something on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
should actually kick off the podcast though. We're just randomly talking.
we should, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back to the Soapbox Society. I'm Jake.
I'm Shantine. And you're here for episode 3. And we are obviously, well, I guess not obviously, but we're talking about Disney and our experience and our trip to Disneyland. And Jake is wearing one of his most favorite shirts that I made him wear during the, yeah.
This shirt actually, it's probably accurate. I would not say this, hey, let's wear matching Disney shirts, but I really enjoyed it. It made everything a lot more fun. Like going through with you and the kids in the morning, like, what matchy shirt are we going to wear today? And yeah, not an idea I would have had, but I don't regret that. It made it better.
Yeah, totally. See, I'm all about the fun. That's what they call me. Shantine Fun. No, I mean, yeah, it's totally it.
I like to call everyone Captain. That'd be Captain Fun.
Captain Fun. But yeah, I liked picking them all out, and the girls got to pick out some of their favorites, like, Stitch and whatever for some of the shirts and whatever, and they were pretty. But I went so big and all in 2020 with all the different shirts and everything that it felt weird to not do it this time.
Right.
Because they don't fit into any of those shirts anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
The trip was planned when they were smaller, so I had to get all new ones.
Yeah.
It's also really weird that it's a thing. Like, we were there for a certain number of days, and you got a different shirt for every day, but then you only wear them at Disneyland, right? Like, I've not seen you put on another Disney shirt other than this one
I don't know that
since we
you've
got
seen me
back.
change my clothes many times since we got back, though, So, but no, the girls wear them to school. They've been wearing them to school
Yeah, that's
every
true.
day,
Yeah, that whole week back for sure they were.
Scout was in well, I think both of them were actually wearing Disney stuff in one of the outtakes from a soap video a few days ago. And Scout had on, I think it's my shirt actually, but yeah, she's rocking it all.
She just loves wearing your shirts too.
Yeah, both of them do. They love stealing my clothes.
Mm.
It's fun.
I think it's hilarious when you have to go into our children's closets to find clothing that's missing.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so Disney we'll definitely be talking about today. How's your day been though? What you been doing?
I mean, what I'm always doing, boring spreadsheets and financials.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. New material samples and trying to get people to make decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering mowing the yard because the sun's out.
Oh, and the dog's got to bathe the dogs today too.
It's dog bath time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 2-3 days ago, but
it's dog bath time.
It's gonna happen.
Well, it got cold, got kind of chilly.
Yeah, it was weird. We had like nice weather, and I thought summer was here, and then it rained for 2.5 days.
Yeah.
And it was chilly.
It did. It was properly chilly. I actually ran out of propane in the galleon, and just hated life because I'm like, I don't have a heater. But it seems weird to go to exchange a propane tank for anything other than grilling season, and we haven't even started that guy yet.
Yeah, the weather hasn't been good long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing master batching today. All my oils. I should be editing my videos for the upcoming Back to Basics Bath Bomb series, which I'm not editing. I'm here with you instead and master batching oils because I don't want to edit. And yeah, by the time this comes out, actually, that whole series will probably be out, and I will have moved on to a Project Soapway thing. So cooking with gas on that.
Yeah, it's been a minute since Project Soapway thing came out.
Since the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one we started at Disney, which I thought was super funny because exactly 3 people in Discord actually knew when I was at Disney. Exactly 3 people.
Right.
And one of them kept her mouth shut. And the other 2 were just telling all the other people in the Discord that I'm at Disney and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, God damn it, you guys. I wanted this to be like not information that was shared with everyone so I could still put these videos out and keep the illusion going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wanted to publish while you were there as though you were not on vacation.
Yeah. And be like, how does she do it? She's awesome. And so I just stopped posting, and because it made it kind of hard posting in the middle of Disney because you're like actively walking towards something, or you're at the pool with the kids and you're publishing a video and sitting there with the premiere and whatever when all this chaos is going on around you.
Yeah.
It's a little bit wild.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to manage that.
Yeah.
It was mild chaos the entire time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, not unpleasant, but just, this high-level buzz.
Oh, 100%.
Everything all the time.
Yeah, Disney was insane. That is not how I remember Disney being at all, for sure.
No.
No.
It was a very intense experience.
It was. It was really, I'm still kind of processing all of it, just kind of going day by day. I'm still very much convinced because we know that Disney has those smellinators essentially that just gets piped all over the place throughout the entire park. So like when you go into like the New Orleans area, it smells like dead fish, because you're by the water and it's whatever. So they put distinct smells into the air intentionally to help with the, complete immersion. I'm convinced that within those distinct smells, they're also putting like some sort of like dopamine receptor or deadener or whatever to keep you just barely alive, like just alive. You're just fine. Just keep you on this even fine place.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of just fine, I never felt overly energetic when I was there.
Right.
But I was also never tired. And that's crazy at the end of all of it because we rocked over 100 miles in that 5 days we were there. That was our final like log. and I was never tired. I know you guys were, but
Not really until we got back to the hotel, though.
yeah,
Like when it was time to be tired, everyone crashed,
yeah,
but didn't really feel it during the when we were in the park, like you were
exactly.
saying. It's almost like Fillory and the Magicians with just like 0.5% opium in the air.
Exactly.
It's just enough that you feel happy, you feel pleasant, and it's the happiest place on earth. So if they're drugging the air to make it happen, I wouldn't put it past them.
I'm convinced that's what they're doing. I'm convinced of it.
But
Don't
to
sue
that,
us,
like,
Disney.
never being like not having a lot of energy but never being tired, we ate more than all four of us ate more than we usually eat. Daily we consumed more than what we daily consume, but I was always a little bit hungry. We were just going so much and burning so many calories, like you were never full. It's never one of those like I do when I eat here and just need to go take a nap, no matter how much we consumed. And there's a lot to consume. The food there was great.
Yeah, the food was amazing.
The coffee doesn't have any caffeine in it, but the food was great.
There's no caffeine in the coffee. That is an accurate statement, and it's really wild. I don't know why they would make that choice, really, to have coffee flavored water at a place where you're catering to children, sure, but in order for the parents to continue to want to be out there
Hmm.
and whatever, we're going to need our caffeine. But like I said, if they're putting the opium in the air,
Yeah, it worked.
yeah, you stay awake.
Before we got to the park, when I'm at the hotel on my fifth cup of not coffee, just hating life because there's no caffeine in this coffee flavored water.
Right.
Then you get to the park and it's all okay.
Yeah. It's very true. Before we get too far into that, though, we actually missed last week. I didn't ask for your house update. And so that sucks because we're like, hey, format. And then I
Right.
didn't do it. So what's going on with the house?
All sorts of things are going on with the house. As I just mentioned, it started raining again, so there's no outside work occurring. That's still on the list. I've got some finishing touches to do on the pantry, but that's all wrapped up and stocked. Making progress on the master closet, working on the shoe shelving organization situation, and got it all prepped yesterday. The LEDs, they're going to be vertical, tied into the motion sensor for the other wing, the other side.
Wow, that sounds cool. I haven't actually been in there in like days and days. Is that all in there? Is it ready to go? Like, do you have stuff installed in there?
No, that's laying on the floor right now.
Oh, okay.
Like the carcass is put together in the mid span, but waiting on a couple of bits from Amazon where it can throw everything together.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to go check it out. That's exciting. Starting on the shoe shelf areas or whatever. That's really cool. I'm very excited to get all of my shoes out. I know that's your shoe area because we started on your side of the closet because, you're obviously more important and need all of the space before I do.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
You demanded it.
We start on my side of the closet as a prototype.
I don't know
And
why.
if that all works out, then we'll duplicate it. But when you look at it and go, well, yeah, I want to change these 7 things from what's on this side, then we'll build your side.
I don't know why you're lying to the people. No, I mean, the real reason why we started at your side is because your side was a lot easier for me to design. Because you have a lot less clothing needs, as far as like storage and how many drawers and whatever.
Mm.
And I'm all over the board. When you have like 100 hoodies and that's just your baseline of normal clothes. And then like my entire 50s wardrobe with all the pinup dresses and the crinolines and all the whatevers. And I have a lot of clothes and I have a lot of shoes and some need folded and some need hung and some need, but there's only so much space, even in
Yeah.
a room that is the size of a bedroom, there's only so much space.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite conversations about this because you designed my side and everything I have fits, and then there's extra room, and then we go to look at your side and you're like, well, is 40 feet of double hang really enough?
Yeah.
Likely not, actually.
I don't know. Yeah, so it's been a fun adventure, but yeah, yours is coming together first, so it gives me time to really dial in all of the different actual size needs I'm going to need for my hang versus my shelving and what height hang and all the things.
Well, you can thank Amazon Prime for not actually being next day delivery anymore, for giving you a few more days.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. You still have that whole run to do. Like you have to make a whole drawer system, 4 feet long with drawers and yeah,
Yeah.
and all my shoe shelves. You
Still,
said you were just working on yours.
still not exactly sure what I'm doing with that draw run thing.
Yeah, so there's plenty of time for me to figure out.
I do have the second your side shoe shelf cut up.
Oh, that's
like
exciting.
rough cut.
Yeah.
I need to go after this and after work. Need to go do probably 8 straight hours of just sanding. So
Sure.
mind numbing sanding work.
Yeah.
That's why I quit early yesterday. I didn't want to sand all night long.
Well, when it's raining out too, sanding sucks.
Yes. Yeah, it's not enjoyable.
It's gummy. Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Maybe I'll put some stuff up for the closet and the pantry. I could show off the pantry. I know that I've shown a couple people in Discord, but I don't think generally I've shown anybody.
It's a really cool pantry.
Yeah.
You could share that.
It's a gorgeous pantry.
I mean, if people like to see pretty pantries, that's a very pretty pantry.
That is a whole ass area of YouTube.
Pantry?
People get bajillions of views for home organization and yeah,
Oh, yeah,
building
definitely.
closets and stuff.
Post up the pantry, then it's well done.
Well, I mean, we're not going to get bajillions of views on this because we're just talking about it. But yeah, for like designing them or just like tours and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
People love that shit. I love that shit. I have watched a lot of influencers, even ones that I like really hate, like You're a Problematic, just to check out what their pantry setup is. And then also judge them if I don't like them for their food choices.
Oh, well, hide all my cereal choices in your pantry review then.
Well, that's why I did what I did with all of it. So there's no boxes anywhere. There's not a single box. So there's not a single brand of anything. You have no idea what is in any of this stuff. But I do.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
That's true. But then
nobody can judge me.
The other day I filled a couple of cereal containers with like honeycomb and corn pops. I've since consumed it all, so you don't have to hide it now. But
yeah,
I do that on occasion.
Well, I mean, I don't have any problem with that. Like, it's not that. It's more like I buy the bagged malto meal version of the honeycombs and the corn pops.
Oh,
and I know you don't. You do the boxed version, but I do the bagged version. And when I was a kid, people got real judgy on the bagged version. And I don't understand that because they're good. It's just as good, if not better, than the original in a lot of cases.
I think it's probably the same cereal, just, generic branded.
This is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, Kirkland alcohol, the Crown Royal, it's taste Webman is convinced it tastes just like regular Crown Royal or something, right?
Well, I think he looked it up. I think it was Crown Royal. He looked it up, and Crown Royal puts their stuff in the Kirkland bottle, essentially.
And it's a fraction of the price. Yeah. It's the exact same stuff.
Yeah. But I also grew up with a bag of cereal, and I'll buy it if what I want is available, but you can't get everything. I like the kid cereals.
Sure.
The specialty, you can only get it from General Mills. There's no malto meal bagged version of it. That's why I buy the boxes.
You're just not looking in the right places.
Well, I only go to one store. If they don't have it readily available, then I'm buying the box version.
No, I mean like in the store, because like honeycomb and golden crisps or puffs or whatever, those are totally available in the bagged versions.
I'm going to have to look harder then.
Yeah.
But because those generally have more in them too.
That's why I buy them. It's not because of the money thing. It's because there's more and they're easier to store.
Yeah.
Because the giant family size box of honeycomb, it's like 24 inches tall. It's obscene.
Yeah, it was rather substantial.
Yeah.
But I use a bowl that's about this big.
Right.
Like, it's a half a box of cereal for a bowl of cereal for me.
Yeah, I'll eat the whole box.
It's my after dinner thing.
For your snack after dinner.
Exactly.
It's really funny because when we were first dating or whatever, your whole thing was, oh yeah, I'm not really a sweets kind of person. I don't really like sweets. I'm not sweets. I don't sweets. And you lied to me, and I don't even know why. You are just like me, where you have to have something sweet at the end of the night. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You can't go to bed.
Yeah. There's like a section of sweets that I just don't care for. With cakes and cupcakes and I guess baked goods, unless it's banana bread. I'm all over that. But in general, I just want gummy candy. Like not chocolate, not hard candy, just gummy candies or cereal.
Yeah, I haven't bought candy for this house.
Cereal.
Like ever.
No, it's
I don't buy candy for this house. You buy the candy for this house. And, this is stuff you like and you bring it in. But yeah, Mr. I'm not a sweets person. Sir, I've seen you during black jelly bean season.
That was my dating phase. You have to say these things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's weird though, because our dating phase when we were grown-ups shouldn't have been different. Like we shouldn't have been putting on any form of pretense because we dated in high school. So we already knew all the things about each other.
Yeah, but even after years of marriage, I'm still sort of embarrassed to admit that I like to consume Valentine candy hearts by the pallet.
You sure do.
Hmm?
You just admitted it to the entire world. Are you going to be editing this video? You going to cut that out? Or you trust me to cut it out for you?
No, I'm going to edit this one. It'll be my first, so it might be terrible and you end up editing it anyway. But yeah, I'll leave that in. I mean, no new drummer. Everyone behaving?
I mean, yeah, the Sudsers are awesome. I guess that would be the biggest soapy update in that we haven't really touched on much was the community that I have is so freaking amazing. Like they're just I don't know, they give me hope for the world. And that is all. And if I talk about it too much, I get really weepy, so I don't want to.
I will say they proved to me that they are who I thought they were.
Yeah, same. That was me too. Because I started kind of worrying, like, am I getting it wrong?
Hmm?
Do these people that like I believe are like really, really good accepting humans, are they intolerant actually? Like I started just be and again, it's one of those things where it's just because you see one bad thing, you start to see cracks in everything.
Yeah.
And no, that wasn't the case. Every single, one that mattered there, support. I'm in a safe space.
Yeah.
It's a safe space and I'm in a safe space. And so I don't have to be afraid of my community, which is beautiful because I imagine there are a lot of communities out there where the creators do have to be afraid of them. I mean, I know there is. I know there are a lot of those communities, not in the soaping world necessarily, but
Maybe.
as I showed, you know, I don't stay within the soaping world.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, there are definitely communities that need to fear their followers.
yeah.
But this one, I think it was just a little skewed for a little bit because the only opinion you were hearing was the minority opinion.
Right.
And now you've heard from the majority.
Yep.
And it is as you thought it was before you got nervous.
Yep. Yep. I agree. And yeah, so I'm so happy that they're, still my people. And,
It's a good thing to have confirmed.
yeah, I mean, in a lot of those instances, like I'm thinking of, maybe like 20 of them in my brain right now. If I were to lose them over something like that, I think I would be devastated. Like really amazing people that I respect and admire their work ethic, their business ethic, but just them as humans or whatever. And if that became a dividing line and they I would have been so sad, like so sad. And so I'm
Yeah.
super glad that it didn't happen. So there's that.
Yeah. I'm very glad it worked out the way it did.
Me too.
So it's Taylor Swift update time.
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift update time. So, that we have Speak Now coming out, right? On July 8th, something.
I do know that, yeah.
Did you see the track list that she put out?
No, I've
So
not.
she showed the back of the album.
Yes, I've seen the back of the album. I didn't read the track list.
Yeah, so track list is out. And, the songs are the songs and cool. They're all Taylor's version. I am surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but I am interested to see if she does anything different with Better Than Revenge, Taylor's version,
Right.
because it was kind of a slut shamey song.
Mm.
And that's not really her brand,
Yeah, I see that. I still feel that the re-record should be the re-record. It should be the original song.
I don't know about that. I think if there's like problematics in it, I think that would be pretty badass to be like, actually, we don't promote this type of mean girl behavior anymore. So I'm sorry, person who I slut shamed for 3.5 minutes straight.
She's better known for the things that she does on the mattress. Whoa.
you know?
Aren't they friends now or something?
I don't think they are. No, I
No?
don't. So she might just genuinely still very much dislike this person.
Hmm. It just seems that she's now friends with like everyone she had beef with.
Oh, she's friends with Joe Jonas now. And that was like the boy that they were fighting over in question for Better
Oh,
Than Revenge.
okay.
But
That must be my confusion.
yeah, the actual girl that she wrote it about, I do not believe that they are friends.
So Better Than Revenge is on the track list, though.
It
That
is.
title.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing if she does something cool with that. But it's not in the vault versions. So, like a different version, like, with the all too well 10-minute version or whatever.
Hmm.
But there are two guest spots on Speak Now.
And Ed Sheeran has both of them?
No, Ed Sheeran's already been on too many of them,
Ed Sheeran cannot be on too many of them.
Like, well, I mean, I guess he's just been on Red re-record. I don't think he did anything for Fearless. But he's properly on Reputation, and he was always properly on Red, and
Hmm.
whatever. But no, not Ed Sheeran.
Just saying it's a missed opportunity.
I disagree completely. It has to be like within the time specific. You know what I mean? And Speak Now was released in like '09,
Oh, when no one knew who Ed Sheeran was.
2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that too, that they need to, be in keeping with the time when they were released.
Right. So think about 2009, 2010. Who would be cool to be on the Taylor Swift as guest spots, as features?
Keith Urban?
Nothing country related.
Oh. Pink?
Good guess. That would be awesome, actually. I would love a Pink collab.
Mm-hmm.
JJ would love that too. So, like, Pink is JJ's Taylor Swift.
Oh,
And I
really?
totally get why. Like, because Pink is awesome. And I've always loved Pink. But then Taylor Swift existed and Pink just became this awesome, badass person. And now I'm like, I love you, Taylor.
Hmm. Pink is still awesome, though.
Yeah. Pink's amazing. That one performance at it was the same VMAs, the 2009 VMAs that was just such a disaster and completely overshadowed all of the just epicness that the 2009 VMAs were
Hmm.
because you had Lady Gaga doing her first like edgy type appearance thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
her everything about that was just it was so incredible. Like it made people uncomfortable like intentionally, you
Right.
know, but her artistry with all of it, her dancing, her singing was just absolutely stunning for her performance at those VMAs. But then Pink also performed on a freaking trapeze
Yeah, that was
singing
insane.
upside down and she was not lip syncing, she was singing
Mm-hmm.
on a freaking trapeze, doing all the things. Completely got overshadowed by that Kanye West and Taylor Swift moment.
Yeah, so Kanye was just an ass to everyone that night,
Yeah,
essentially.
he ruined all of the things
Yeah.
because the Pink thing is like now erased from everybody's memory, and it shouldn't be because that was epic. She's such a badass. She's so strong.
Mm-hmm.
She's such a great singer. She's just so awesome. That was a cool thing to just see at the VMAs generally.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, that was the era where everyone knew that Pink was a badass
Yeah,
too.
it's true.
Like
Also accurate.
you just said, she's been overshadowed,
Yeah.
but she's always been a badass.
Yeah. But no, not Pink. Pink is a good guess. That would be epic. But no, I'll have my people get in touch with Pink's people to get in touch with Taylor Swift's people to
Mm.
make that a thing at some point because
Yeah, it's
that would be
always that
cool.
complicated, but I know you can do it.
Yeah, I'll work on it. But no, it's the two people she has is a Fallout Boy, which is
That
like
makes all the sense.
so amazing. I'm so super excited about that because I love Fallout Boy. And I have like the worst takes ever, apparently, as a Fallout Boy fan, because I do believe that their album Infinity on High is the best thing they've ever done. But, like real Fallout Boy fans are like, like the stuff before, like Under the Corkscrew Tree, blah, blah, or even the Folie à Deux, the one that was after Infinity on High. They're like, yeah, no, better than. I'm like, you are full of no.
So, what makes a real Fallout Boy fan? Are these the ones that are like, you know, anti going pop and selling out,
Yeah.
and so they only like Fall Out Boy from before they became successful and made money.
Yeah, exactly that. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
sort
can't
of
stand that sort of fan.
I know, sort of underground, like,
Yeah,
whatever. It
when
was
when you gained the ability to make a living doing this, you're no longer cool. Is that sort of fan?
yeah. No, Infinity on High, it's definitely their most, like, pop, well, like, mainstream music ever, but I was a scene kid, Like, I liked Fall Out Boy before. I had all their albums leading up to it and, like, listened to it or whatever, but for the first time, I could talk to other people about Fall Out Boy
Mm.
because other people had heard of it because Infinity on High was popular.
Right, because they played on the radio and
Right.
people had heard it.
Yeah, and it was such a scene moment, and I was, like, such a scene kid, and so it was great. But yeah, Fall Out Boy, they're gonna be on Taylor Swift's, Speak Now.
So I have to point this out. We were talking about another artist earlier, and you were talking about greatest album ever. And I think I said, or I was thinking, I would need to look up the album and see what songs are on it in
Yeah.
order to have this conversation because I didn't do albums. Like I didn't have CDs as a kid. I got my first CD player when I was like 15,
Yeah, wow.
and you know I didn't, I did not have albums with lists of songs. So whatever played on the radio is what I was familiar with.
Well, that came out way after you were 15 though, so
But I'm saying
no excuse for
I
that. Because when you were 16, I knew you, and you had all kinds of CDs. You had the
yeah,
big book of CDs just like I did.
but I didn't have. Well, I wasn't a Fall Out Boy fan, so I didn't have Fall Out Boy albums. But even we were talking about Garth Brooks. I was a Garth Brooks fan, grew up with him, but didn't have Garth Brooks albums. So I don't have this, like, you looking at the Speak Now track list. I don't even think to look at a list of songs on the album. I looked at the album to see what the covers looked like.
Yeah.
Looked at the back of the album, which is the track list. Didn't even think to read it.
Yeah.
Those I don't make those correlations. So
Yeah.
like you would have to tell me what Fall Out Boy songs are on Infinity on High for me to even make a call on whether
Yeah.
or not I like that album.
No, I mean, that's a fair point. But for that one, the ones that you would have heard would be like Thanks for the Memories.
Yeah, actually, I'm hearing Fall Out Boy songs in my head now that you said thanks for the memories, but I can't put a title to them.
Yeah. Amazing album. Like I have so many memories just tied up in that album that it's like a Taylor Swift album to me. I get emotional thinking about it.
So you could tell Fall Out Boy thanks for the memories.
Yeah. 100%. But that's not really the point of that song, so I wouldn't tell them that cuz that'd be a little mean, you know?
Even though they weren't so great.
But that's exciting. So for one of them, and the other one is one that you're going to really like quite a bit. Be pretty excited about.
Lay it on me.
So Haley Williams is the other.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you were a big fan of Paramore.
Yeah. Is it Paramore or just Haley Williams?
It's just Haley Williams.
Because apparently Paramore's a thing again.
They're touring right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering, since they are touring right now, if their schedules line up for Paramore to make a guest appearance at Our Eras tour.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back now to the problematic song we were just talking about on Speak Now.
Oh, Better Than Revenge.
Better Than Revenge. Because that's totally Paramore inspired.
Yeah.
It's a Paramore vibe.
Right.
And she's got Haley Williams as a guest spot
Mm-hmm.
on this album.
Yeah. She had a ton of scene kid influences in the Speak Now era for sure, which she like talked about or whatever. So it made all of the sense in the world to bring like two of the biggest scene kids from that time to come and collab on this album.
What are the names of the songs? Do you remember?
I don't, but I have it up so I can look at it.
Well, that's convenient.
It's only a matter of time before people get annoyed that I'm like on my phone when I notice when I'm editing that I'm always like checking my watch while I'm talking and whatever. And it's like, well, I'm not doing it because I don't like I have somewhere to be. I get a whole bunch of notifications on my watch, and so it's whatever.
Mhm.
But then also being on the phone, whatever. You know what?
Sometimes you need to look something up.
Sometimes you got to look the things up.
Instead of this, I could step off camera and go over to the computer to pull up a browser and look things up.
Right.
And then come back. Or sit here with a laptop or something.
Right.
Like,
Look, it's here. We have a computer in our hands and in our hearts.
if you don't like someone being on their phone on a podcast, fuck off.
Right. So the song for Fall Out Boy is called Electric Touch.
Okay.
And the song from the vault with Haley Williams is called Castles Crumbling.
All right. That sounds like it might be one of those later Paramore ballady kind of things. I'm not sure.
Maybe. See, I
I
got
hope not.
when I heard Castles Crumbling, and I think it's because Haley is very close to Halsey. I was like, well, I started wondering
Oh,
whether or not Halsey would ever be on one. But I think in all reality, though, going back to the Castles Crumbling bit, I think it's more likely that it's not going to be a ballad. I think it's going to be something just badass and, upbeat and Paramore.
yeah, I hope so.
You
I hope
know?
it's like the screaming punk guitars and just rocking.
Yeah. Because again, that was such a big influence for her Speak Now album. So it's exciting.
It's a
We've got
very good
like a
choice.
few weeks before we get to hear it.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I still haven't bought an album. I should do that.
Oh, like the vinyl?
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do that at some point. I like left it for you to buy because I just always do that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an easy gift
Mm-hmm.
to give for sure. And so then you don't have to think about something. And but then I realized after my birthday when I didn't get it,
That it's not out yet?
right. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
under what circumstances would he be buying this? Like, because I don't have a, you know what that between now and July 8th, there's not a reason to do it other than just to give it to me. So I should just buy it myself.
Well, you could do that, yeah, but we still should coordinate.
Well, yeah, because we didn't coordinate for the stupid midnights and we have 5 copies.
Yeah, it may have already been purchased, even though there was no way you were going to get it for your birthday. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Well, that's good to know. I'll go to Target and get the limited edition.
Yeah, which is so weird. Where do
She
you
loves
find
Target.
vinyl at Target, though?
Oh, I don't
Like,
know.
to go get the limited edition?
I have no idea.
Because they did that for Midnight's, right? Like a pink one or something.
Or Lover. Is that where they did the Heart? She did the Heart album.
No, there was one for Midnight's also. Probably not pink, because that's not a Midnight sort of thing. But
Hmm.
there was a special edition vinyl only available at Target.
Yeah, I don't know. I would
And
imagine you still just buy it online. It just ships to you.
right,
I've
but if
never
it's
seen vinyl at Target, but I haven't spent any amount of time in the actual music section of Target since they stopped having one.
yeah,
Since it was
it's
just
like
sad there.
3 little rows of CDs or something now.
Yeah.
It's very easy to just gloss over.
Yeah. But Target's cool that she still does that because that's on like album release days. She used to just go to a random Target wherever she was
Mm.
and go buy her own album and then like take pictures and stuff with the fans that recognized her and stuff.
Right.
So it's cute.
That's an interesting qualifier. Take pictures with the fans that recognized her.
Well,
Can
back
she walk in anywhere and not be recognized by everyone?
not now, but
Mm.
certainly I would say back in the Speak Now era, there's a definite
Yeah.
possibility. You walk into a Target in Gig Harbor in
Yeah.
2009. I don't know that. I mean, certainly people would recognize her, but not the entire store.
Right.
And the entire store would recognize her as she's leaving the car, you know?
Yes.
So today. So yeah, no, she used to do that. It's cute. Kind of sucks she can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Uh, Seriously, it does suck to get too popular.
Yeah, price of fame.
Mm-hmm.
How sad. Can't relate.
It's terrible.
It's the worst ever. But yeah, that is a very exciting news for Taylor Swift. That's all I got. Is the updates on the new songs.
I don't think you need more than that. I keep forgetting that there's going to be new songs too. It's just, I don't know why. It just goes right past me. Like Taylor Swift's re recording her old album. Cool. So it will be her old album.
Yeah, I don't
But there's new songs on every one.
yeah. Even to this day, I don't care about the new songs. Like I don't. That's not my motivation. Like I
Mm.
got the Fearless album, both vinyl and CD, and then bought it. Same all the re-releases. So I guess just 2 so far. I don't care. I didn't care about the new songs like at all.
Mm.
At all. Did not care. I was not the person that was like listening to them first or whatever. I was the person that was listening to the originals, and the only thing I wanted to know and read was if Ed Sheeran was going to say we good to go. We good,
I
you know?
remember that,
And he
yes.
did.
He did.
But yeah, but the actual new songs, yeah, they're in my rotation now. I listen to them as often as I listen to, the original songs, but
Hmm.
for the actual release, I don't care. I'm not a big it's.
It's not what you're there for.
Right, because like for me, it's strange. It's like if these were things that were supposed to be on the album, you should have just put them on the album.
Right.
So, I I find it sus. I think you're lying to me. This whole from the vault thing.
Well, you do also have to go back to the time period, and she was beholden to a label and had to conform to certain things. So maybe she really did intend to put them on the record, but label said otherwise.
They let a 19-year-old kid write an entire album all by herself.
Didn't they advise against that though? They just let it go ahead.
So yeah, my point is, at any point you could have been like, actually no, I'm going to put all of these songs on. And so, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I just don't believe it. So it's just, and I don't like feeling that, I'm being lied to.
Right.
Why don't you just say, I want to put more songs on it to make it more interesting,
It could be.
you know?
But there's no real reason for it because it's going to sell like crazy whether you put a couple new songs on it or not.
Right.
So what would the motivation be to lie about it?
I honestly don't know. I don't know why she does it, but I'm convinced that she does. The lyrical quality for some of the newer songs, that was not the lyrical quality that you were delivering during the Fearless era, during the Red era,
Yeah.
probably during the Speak Now era. Speak Now album is ridiculous. Like, it is so extra. Everything about it is so over the top and just dramatic and end of the world sobbing, crying in the corner in the club. And I guarantee that the new songs that are on it are going to be just not that more highbrow thoughtful than
Mm.
what they were then. So I feel like you're lying to me. So I don't like it. I like the songs eventually, but that's not why I buy the albums is the point.
Well, let's hope the new songs are also full of teenage drama and angst.
For anybody who actually sticks around for the Taylor Swift part, I think they're probably picking up right now that I am the weirdest fan ever. Because basically all I do is sit here and talk shit about Taylor. I love her so much, but yeah, very not like the other girls.
Yeah, no, you definitely point out shortcomings.
Yeah. Sorry. So the girls for Disney, it's kind of a lot to unpack, right?
Yeah.
Because we were there for a really long time
Mm.
and it was just a lot.
It was all a lot every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I had the girls write down their top three. I told them to write down their top three and their worst three. So
Oh, great.
their three best and their three worst
Mm.
experiences at Disney. And I thought it could be kind of fun. Aowen actually ended up not following the rules at all. And she wrote down five top threes
Mm-hmm.
and one least favorite.
I'm not surprised that she got creative with it.
Yeah. And so there was that. But so I thought maybe we could kind of just talk about the lists or whatever. And then as far as we get is as far as we get and sort of include our stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have top threes and least threes?
I am going to start from the very beginning. One of my top three is that our children are very pleasant to travel with.
Oh, they are.
Getting us and luggage and onto planes and into Ubers and spread out in the hotel and all of that. It was just excellent.
Yeah.
There was no drama, there was no anxiety or tension. And I always dread. I travel by myself a lot, and that's super easy. I got one bag and pre-check, and don't have to worry about a thing. Traveling with the family, I get really anxious and nervous for that, and it just went off without a hitch, and it does every time that we travel with them, right? I mean, we've gone on the ski trips and all that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
it's always excellent. I'm
Yeah.
always impressed, but then the next time, I'm always still a little nervous about pulling it off.
Yeah.
So that is one of my top three is how easy the trip was to take to
Yeah.
make.
100%. They are great
Yeah.
travelers for sure. Like there's no whining or complaining or, just anything. Even Aowen, who's like coded for stress.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps it all, whatever. And we get through all the things. And I think it's important for someone like her because, we do the stuff. We're like, okay, so this is the next step. We're going to get out of the car. We're going to get our suitcases. We're going to get on this elevator and we're going to go get rid of these suitcases.
Mhm.
Next step, next step. And then she's fine. But yeah, if you just kind of throw her into the whole thing without any sort of preparation, she could get kind of anxious. But yeah, just traveling in general, they don't have any issues being on the plane or anything. Scout's ears, she freaked out a little bit in the airplane
Mm.
this time, um, because her ears weren't popping.
Right.
But after I, gave her some gum and then taught her a little trick of
Yeah.
she was fine after that. But
Yeah, but even that was very mild.
yeah.
There was no major drama surrounding ears not popping.
Oh yeah, there
She
was no
handled it very
panic around
well.
it. It was
Yeah.
just I saw that my kid was going through a moment, like she was in pain. And so for me as a mom, I'm like,
Hmm.
let's fix this. Let me get some gum.
Yeah.
You know, this is why I told you to pack your headphones. Put them on. But yeah, they're great. You are absolutely right in traveling with for sure. I think one of my top threes is just generally how much fun the family has together just whenever we're anywhere. You know, we sort of forget that because we do a lot of solo stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like I gave the kids a hard time this last weekend because at the end of Sunday night, they came in and they're saying things like, "Well, mom, we haven't gone to the Little Mermaid yet. We haven't." And they literally spent the entire weekend, my birthday weekend, avoiding me. Like
Yeah.
they were just on their iPads doing their own thing. And I'm like, "You are not coming to me at the 11th hour. I'm clearly already in bed
Hmm.
to start talking about all the fun shit you wanted to do with mama because all you did was ignore me all weekend."
Yeah. It's that's sort of a trend for them too, is 9:15 ish on Sunday night, because they know bedtime's coming and school's about to start again. Then they remember all of the things that they had wanted to do all weekend
Yeah.
and want to bring it up.
Yeah. And so at Disney, it was like they didn't have any of we didn't have any of the extra stuff. Like mom and dad aren't working. They're not obviously not going to any of their extracurriculars or school. And
Hmm.
while we had our, devices or whatever, we didn't use them
Hmm.
for like entertainment stuff. And I was a little concerned. Like, are you guys going to get annoying? You
Right?
know?
Or are they going to get annoyed with us? I
Yeah.
always wonder that too. I mean, I can be annoying just like they can.
And well, they were raised by me as a mom. So any annoyance is gonna be like fine. It's gonna roll off their back because I am just generally annoying. Like
Well, you do things to purposefully annoy them.
yeah,
That's different than just being generally annoying.
yeah. Like I'll just like walk into their bedroom and wake them up with the best hook ever written in the history of the world, and I'll just start singing that at the top of my lungs.
Hmm.
It's the hook from Out of the Woods, in case anybody wanted to know. But that's just me, I don't, whatever. So I wasn't worried about them getting annoyed with us because they genuinely do like us. And we all do spend a lot of time together. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. But yeah, like a full week in the same hotel room, no like place to retreat.
Yeah, we essentially spent our entire week, all four of us, in the same like 20 square foot area.
Right,
Because when you're in the park, it's a big park, but we're all trying to stay together and not get lost in the crowd. So
right,
we were shoulder to shoulder
right.
for an entire week.
Yeah. And they were great. Like they were actually just pleasant to have around, and the family just had fun, even when we were standing in lines and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we especially had fun standing in some lines
In some lines, we had
with
a
that.
lot of fun with that line cutter pass.
I wasn't sure I wanted to say it, but since you have, yes, the line cutter pass and talking to people about having it was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Yeah. Listen, I don't understand why people are so uppity at Disney. Like, why are you? It's like that thing from GTA, the crappy whatever. Like, you're in IKEA and, at the end of
Mm,
it, you've yelled at your children, you've divorced your wife, and, whatever.
yeah.
That's how they act. Everybody's so stressed and mad, and you're always walking by families where the parents are yelling at the kids and all this shit. And it's like, okay, I mean, cool. You're the happiest place on earth. And this
Mm,
place actually has rules. Like there are actual rules. Like you can't swear in the fucking park. Like that is a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's actually part of their code of conduct. You could get removed from the park if you use profanity.
Yeah.
And so it's delightful. Like, I even abide by that. And I don't like being told that I can't swear.
I broke that rule a time or two. I'm glad I didn't get caught.
Yeah, but like, so this shit is on lockdown. That every move that is made within this park, from the cast members to, I mean, obviously the ambiance and everything, is geared toward ensuring that you are completely immersed in this Disney bubble and you are having the best time ever.
Hmm?
So drop your fucking attitude at the goddamn door. I came in contact with so many people in line that just like, were convinced that we were cutting and stuff, like the weirdest shit ever. And
Yeah.
it's like, in what world would somebody just like do that? Like,
Yeah, when have you ever seen that happen? But they're in Disneyland. Like these
right,
these people that are convinced that you're cutting. Like you saw me talking to the cast member, right? Like, hey, this is what's happening, and I'm gonna go up there where the rest of my family is, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, and they open a special gate, and then the people you're walking past are so pissed off that you're walking past them. Like you just saw Disney, the company, condone what I'm doing.
right.
Obviously, this is not breaking a rule, and I've
Yeah.
got the line cutter pass.
We got the line cutter pass. Well, that's what it became, because we were at the Finding Nemo ride, which used to be like 20,000 Leagues or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's where it all started. It was very early in the morning, and there was some kind of line that said it was going to be like 15 minutes or whatever. It was our first ride for the day, whatever. And so, fine. We went and stood in the line, me and the girls, and you went to go get churros because we had walked by this churro place that looked like it had new churros.
Hmm.
And so because that's what we were doing within Disney, is trying all the churros. And so you went to go get churros. We had plenty of time for you to go get them. We're standing in line, whatever. And then that line moved a lot faster than I anticipated. And so I got to the point where there's a cast member and we're holding back and like letting people go.
Hmm.
Cause I'm like, well, I got to wait for Jake to get here. And the cast member asked me, if I was waiting for another party member. And I said yes. And he's like, okay, just go right back to where you were. And, just tell the people up there that, you're waiting for another member, and they'll just pull you aside. And then when he comes, they'll get you in the thing. I'm like, cool, thank you.
Hmm.
And so I'm literally doing that right next to this group of people that suddenly were like, you're cutting. And I'm like,
Did you not just hear this
and I
exchange?
understand that maybe you didn't just hear this exchange, but the cast member's still standing right here looking at you,
Right.
watching this exchange. And so I just look at her and I'm like, hi, we're all going to be okay today. Have a great day, And I was like, it's okay. And then I continue moving on with my whatever. But
Mm.
yeah, this person is just I was cutting, and I'm like, dude, I don't expect everybody just to know like the type of person I am. Like, that's not a thing. I don't expect to just be, you know, treated like I'm a nice person, because who the fuck am I?
Yeah, they
I know
don't
what's in my
know that
heart.
you're a nice person.
But it would be nice if people just did a little bit more of that in life, because I don't approach a single person in life assuming the worst. I am the absolute opposite. Every person I come in contact with, I assume that I am your best friend and it's going to be a good time. And yeah, sometimes I am proven wrong with that, but I think that's mostly true. I found that to be mostly true in life,
Right.
you know? And at Disney, especially, I would say, like, we're all here. We all paid the same muns
Yeah.
to get here.
Yeah, if you're going to check your attitude at the door anywhere, it should be the gates of
It should be the
Disneyland.
gates of Disneyland. How can you walk under that Walt Disney sign and talking about the future and tomorrow and magic and all the things and not be like, okay, I'm going to not be a dick today? It was wild. So the line cutter
Uh,
pass was born at that moment, because there were a number of instances wherein we actually did have to do that a number of times, with us walking through the lines to catch up to the other member or whatever,
yeah.
for lots of reasons, which we will get into with Aowen's list. But
Oh, I'm glad that made the list.
yeah, but it was all cast member endorsed. Like, they were literally telling us to do this.
Yeah.
So
But because of that happening more than once, and because of all the scoffs and sighs while you or I were maneuvering through a line, the conversation loudly about having the line cutter pass was born.
It was, yeah, and it
And
was
so
so
we
much
brought it
fun.
up and talked about it in front of basically everyone we could and every line we stood in because it was
It
hilarious.
really
And it
was.
just like visibly irritated the people that could hear us talking about
I
it.
know. It was so funny. I don't get it, man. Like, I don't know. I probably annoyed everybody around me in lines and stuff because I don't sit there quietly in a line. You know what I mean?
Well, it's boring.
Yeah. So I'm talking and being weird and doing whatever the whole family is.
Hmm?
And everybody else they're all listening in on our conversations. They're obviously enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Come watch our podcast.
Right. I mean, that's motivation for doing a podcast. The
Yeah,
whole of Disneyland line standing enjoyed listening to our family talk.
exactly. Because we're
They
just
weren't talking.
cutting up and doing a skit and, whatever. And it was fun. I don't understand why people want to stand in line and be just irritated that they're standing in line. You knew what you were signing up for. You went to Disneyland.
Right, right. That was one of my favorite things to over here in the hotel waiting for the elevator because they were having like elevator control issues and like you know half of them weren't working at some point and you wait forever for the line. But there was this couple that it was their first day there that they checked in, dropped their bags off, and they were at the elevator lobby waiting to go down to go to the park for the first time. And this the woman of the couple is complaining about how long the elevator is taking, and then she looks at her husband and she's like, I know, I just don't like waiting." And the look he gave her, like,
You're at Disneyland.
"This is what we're doing for whatever period of time we're here. We're just standing in lines and waiting."
Yep.
It was hilarious. I
That's
laughed. I couldn't help it,
yeah, that's it.
and then I got glared at.
That's the whole list.
Yeah,
Like you paid money to come stand in line for however many days you're there.
yeah. And even with a line cut to pass, you still stand in a line. It's just a little bit shorter.
It's just a little bit shorter. But yeah, that was and again, like to go back to, people being angry in the park or whatever. I get we were at a wildly different place than a lot of people are when they do Disney, which I appreciate. We took 5 straight days, and not everybody can afford to do that and
Oh,
afford to
got
take the
you.
time off and whatever, but we were there for 5 days, which is more time than you need to experience Disneyland and California Adventure.
Yes, it is.
And so as a result, we were never in a rush to go see everything.
Yeah, I could see that. We were more laid back than other people could afford to be.
Right. And then also, we knew that this would not be the last trip because it's not the only trip that our kids are ever going. So we don't have to shove everything in and see it all.
Right.
And so if we miss something, well, we hit it next year.
Yeah.
And I understand and recognize that that's not a place where a lot of people can be. So I do get why you can be frustrated and things or whatever. But still, at the same time, it's Disney. You know that you're going to be waiting in lines.
Yeah. Regardless of how much time you have to devote to this, you are going here to stand in lines.
Yeah. There's never a day ever where it's going to be, hey, everything's wide open.
Yeah. But back to what you said in the beginning of this with walking by families, early in the morning or first thing, or whatever, that are already at each other's throats. I mean, we experienced that, 7:30 in the morning, right? The early park access. And there's these families just barking at each other on the
Yeah.
way to the gate. Like, if
Yeah.
you've started your morning this way, maybe just go back to the hotel and reset.
It's going to be a really long day.
So these are probably the people that are all angry about getting cut in line, or the ones that have been at each other's throats since 6 o'clock in the morning or something.
Right.
Like, the day's already wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that becomes a really long day at that point. Because something I didn't realize, and I don't know when that started happening, Disneyland is like New York, it never closes.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the first couple nights, I thought things shut down at like 10 or 11 o'clock. Like, I
Right.
thought the fireworks show was
The
like
end.
the end.
Right.
That's like the credits, right? And then you get out of the park. And so I think the first night we were back in the hotel like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and it was still raging out there.
Yeah.
But like, I fell asleep like maybe an hour later. It was still going strong.
Yeah.
It was nuts how late you could stay. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
I mean, we tried to go as late as we could one night, like pull an all-nighter, and I think we ended up back at the hotel around 11 or 12. And I think that night I stayed up until after 1, and we had the view of the California Adventure
Mhm.
from our hotel room, and all of those rides were still going. They were
Yeah.
still doing the water show at night every like Hour on the Hour.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing the water show, and it was at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's still going strong, and I'm like, I didn't. Everything on the website says this shit closes at like 8. So what's
Yeah.
happening
I mean,
here?
even if you look at the app that you're required to have to do anything at all now, it has hours, like closing hours. It's like 11 o'clock.
Right?
But it's absolute false.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Yeah,
false.
it never closes.
Yeah,
And then
it's
like downtown
nuts.
Disney, that place is crazy all night. All the shopping area.
Yeah, it seemed like it was sort of a like local
Yeah,
party hangout spot.
right. It's where the locals
Because
go
lots
instead of
of
the mall.
people, we would be leaving Disneyland at 11 o'clock at night,
Hmm.
and there's just this huge influx of people coming from the parking lot into, maybe they were going to the park because it's open all night, but also downtown Disney.
Yeah,
I was shocked at the amount of people coming in.
yeah. It's completely wild.
I was also shocked at the amount of people coming in at 11 o'clock at night pushing strollers.
I know,
That's a
right?
weird thing.
Yeah, like I couldn't. I don't do late night just generally though. Like that's not a thing that's
Yeah, you
ever
do
really
not.
been
Yeah.
me. But I couldn't imagine like having the energy to take my kids out at 11 o'clock at night, like kids.
I can't imagine your 2-year-old having the energy to be out at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you've
all the
got an
loud and all the
interesting
stuff.
schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. That was very wild for sure.
Yeah. It was all sorts of interesting.
Yeah,
You learn so many things about life going to Disneyland.
you really do. Everybody learns so much. Everybody has so many life lessons. Speaking of life lessons, we've got, since you did a fave and I did a fave, I'll do an Aowen fave. And on the top of hers, this is in no particular order, but on the
Mhm.
top of hers for the faves are the water rides, which, I agree.
Yeah.
So, what would she be talking about? Splash Mountain,
Splash Mountain and
Pirates.
the raft ride
The
that
raft ride was great.
we did over and over. Grizzly Falls or something like that.
Yeah, Disney California Adventure.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun for sure. So it's like you're riding down a raft in the middle of, a man-made river or whatever you're still on tracks and stuff. So whatever, but massive splash damage with all of it. Like they actually tell you store all of your belongings in
Yeah.
these lockers. Yeah.
Lockers. Yeah.
Store all of your belongings in the locker before you get on because it's whatever. And people are there because people show up to Splash Mountain with, the ponchos and stuff on, and it's like you are a bitch.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You needed that for this ride because we were watching people just get absolutely drenched.
Yeah. So we abided by that advice, right? We got a locker and we put all our things in, and then we rode it, and we got off all pretty much dry.
Yeah.
And then Aowen and I rode it like 3-4 more times.
Yeah.
And we got off every single time. We got off pretty much dry. But there were people in our raft every time that were just dripping wet, drenched head to toe.
That's wild.
It's just whatever the orientation is at certain points.
Right.
And like, I think the third time we rode it, the same kid got doused like every time you could get wet.
Right.
It was him.
Oh no.
He was just soggy by the end of
no.
it. And Aowen and I were on the other side. We were completely dry.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that was fun. I liked that one quite a bit. So the water rides, of course, were fun. We got to ride Splash Mountain for the very last time, which is
Yes.
super wild. So I'm very glad that the kids got to experience it.
One of the kids is also glad of that.
Yeah, well, she's got water rides on it for sure. So Splash Mountain was cool because it was nice to be able to say goodbye to the ride or whatever. I'm glad that they're changing it. Like, obviously, it's problematic. You know what's more problematic about that shit, though? I always figured it was around since like the 50s or something, right? That Splash
Right.
Mountain was put in like 1989 or something.
Oh shit! Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like one of the original rides, and that was basically the excuse for it.
Same. Fucking same. I was shocked when because I found this YouTube video because I watch a lot of Disney stuff and they were talking about the history of Splash Mountain. And I'm like, cool, that's interesting.
Mm.
And I watched it after we got back from Disney. And yeah, no, like 1989. I'll put up the actual number somewhere.
1989 Disney purposefully installed racism.
Like,
That's
what
incredible.
the hell? I'm pretty sure that animated movie that it was like based off of or whatever, the Song of the South movie, which was like cartoon plus it was like animation plus
Yes.
real, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that movie had already been like, no, this is a problematic and just removed and not they weren't playing it anymore at that point, I think.
Yeah, I think that timing works out.
I mean,
You
I
mean
have,
prior to 1989?
yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
So it would be weird that, I don't know, it was very strange to me. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see what they do with Tiana's. And so, of course, we'll go back and see the Bayou with the Princess
Yeah,
Tiana's one.
yeah, absolutely.
They'll just reuse a whole bunch of those characters, though, within all of it because they still fit. Like, there's a bunch of frogs and stuff, so that will totally fit. I hope the ride itself gets some sort of a change. I don't know how they could change it, you know?
You mean
But,
the actual like motion of the ride?
right. But, I mean, they're closing it down for an entire year. So it
Yeah,
suggests that they are going to be literally reworking the ride experience, not just the scenery, because the scenery can be switched out pretty quickly.
yeah. You would think that wouldn't need an entire year.
Right. And so I really do hope they change it up a bit. Like we've seen them, like they obviously did so for the
The
Tower of
Guardians
Terror.
of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
What is it called now? It's not Tower of Terror.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Best ride ever. That's what it's called.
I don't know what it's called, but when we talk about that, we'll definitely put the picture up or whatever for it and so it'll probably say on there. I want to say Galaxy's Edge, but that's the Star Wars area.
Yeah.
But yeah, they changed that up because I was shooketh on that. Actually, we can just talk about that, I suppose, before we get to Scout's, list of faves or whatever. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the Tower of Terror was quite an adventure.
It terrified your watch.
When I went on the Tower of Terror before, it was a straight free fall drop. I mean, that's what it was. Like it was you did a thing and like the doors would open and I seem to remember that the elevator would actually move into the scene of like ghostly, whatever in the hotel or whatever. And it's all this tension building stuff as they're taking you up to the top
Hmm.
and it was just a free fall.
Got it.
And that is not what I experienced with this one.
I mean, there's a free fall involved.
Uh, it's up and
It's a
down.
lot of free falls.
And it
Yeah.
stopped, and it goes again, and the doors open for a little bit, and Gamora and Rocket are there, and it's all over the place. And if you don't have a seatbelt on, and I know this for a fact because I was holding Aowen's backpack, I just like put it around my foot
Hmm.
in an enclosed room, so it's like an elevator shaft. That's the whole thing with the Tower of Terror, and so you're in an enclosed, cage or whatever. So fine if things bounce around a little bit, but also not fine. Anyway, we're strapped in and the backpack that she had, I just looped a thing around my foot
Hmm.
and it was going up and down while we were doing the things. And I'm like, oh no, this is not whatever. But whatever was happening to my body, my watch decided that I was in danger. And so my watch, and I was holding your leg. I was holding both of you. I feel so bad for Aowen and you both because I'm just gripping, like, oh my God. But so you can attest because you were on this side. It was freaking out.
Yeah, I think it wanted to call 911, like emergency
It was
services.
actively calling my emergency
Yeah.
services, like setup, my emergency whatever. And so like my doctor's on there and like all the whatever.
Mm.
And so it was actually crazy and I felt it going off, but I didn't want to do anything with it. And finally when we got to the point where they opened up the hatch and it was outside,
Hmm.
I thought that was going to be the big free fall drop, right? Cuz that's what I remember. It's just from the very that moment and then you free fall.
Mm.
And so I'm like, I got to get this shit in order before this happens, and I go to like turn off my watch.
Hmm.
But at that moment is the moment where they're taking the picture
Yeah.
because the doors open and there's the cameras or whatever. And I'm not thinking about. And so the picture that we have,
Is epic.
it is everything in this world. It is
Oh.
everything good in this world. Like that's going to become our Christmas card.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's so the four of us together. It's like we're all riding for completely different rides.
Right? Yeah, if you separated those pictures out, you would not say that we're all on the Tower of Terror at the same time.
It is so wild. And you're the only one that's like posing for the camera because you're like, oh yeah, cool. This is my new camera.
Right.
And you're doing the thing. And I'm just like checking my watch, like I'm bored but not feeling well. And Scout and Aowen are just like looking in opposite directions, just kind of frazzled. We are all each having a wildly different experience,
Mm.
and none of those experiences match what is actually happening. Like, they
No,
don't match the rest of the people in the cart. You
no, no,
know?
it's absolutely true. None of the expressions, none of the actions of the four of us when the camera snapped had anything at all to do with being there riding this Tower of Terror
It
ride.
was so epic. It was just the best time ever. And then I got off that ride and we, get down the thing or whatever, and they drop you into a place to buy things because it's Disney.
Mhm.
And I just crouch on the floor, holding my head in my hands. And Scout's telling me how, good of a job she did and how she's not afraid of elevators anymore. Little do I know how untrue that statement's about to become.
Mhm.
And I'm just underneath this really pretty jacket. It's Peter Quill's jacket. I might want this really pretty red leather jacket, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to put my brain back in my head
Mhm.
because that was intense. Bodies are not meant to do that.
That actually became another sort of catchphrase among the family was your soul left your body.
Yeah.
That's how people were describing their
You
experiences
know,
from then on.
and my soul left my body. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that I felt my brain rattling in my skull throughout that. Like I felt it moving in my skull. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? My brain shrinking?
Boxers and the NFL would say that's a bad thing
Great. Maybe I should get my head checked out. But it,
because of Disney.
it was a moment. That was a wild
Yeah.
ride.
We did that one prior to Splash Mountain, right?
After.
Oh, was it after?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Days are all jumbled together.
Yeah, we did. And you know what I found out afterwards?
Hmm?
There are 4 programmed, computer chosen at will sequences for that ride.
Oh, so it could be different?
They can be different every time you experience it. And so for all I know, there is still an all the way free fall option
Gotcha.
for it.
Yeah.
And that's just the one that I experienced when I was there when I did the Tower of Terror.
And it's at random.
It's at random. The
So
computer just selects it at random.
So if I ride it 4 times in a row, I'm not guaranteed to experience all 4 different sequences.
Right.
I need to commit
Interesting.
some time to
Yeah.
Tower of Terror.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It made me want to go back and like try to, see all the different endings or all the different possibilities. But
Mhm.
I don't know. That one was rough on me.
That one was very intense.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I'd not been on it before when it was Tower of Terror,
Oh, yeah.
but that was awesome.
You weren't allowed to do the scary stuff when you went to Disney.
Mm-mm.
No,
Lame and boring.
nothing about ghosts.
Nope, just ride Dumbo.
Yeah. We didn't do Dumbo. We did not ride Dumbo.
I'm so thankful for that.
I don't know. This is the last year that the kids would really want to ride Dumbo. And I think, so next year when we go, I'm going to have to force them because we didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand for the classical aspect of it.
Yeah.
Also, it's time to get kids.
Oh, we
so-
should go get kids.
Yeah.
Hold, please. I guess we can talk about one of Scout's favorites, and she has first on her list. Uh, it's a small world.
That is absolutely accurate. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that was her happy place.
That was her happy place.
It's a weird, creepy happy place, but she definitely dove into that one.
Yeah, it really is a weird, creepy, happy place because leading up, because It's a Small World has always freaked me out, just the entire concept of it. And I think it's because, child's play was a thing and the Chucky doll, and it was scary.
Mhm.
This idea of these little dolls, whatever. And that's all the whole ride is. It's very cool. Like, if you look at it from an actual, animatronics perspective and the artistry and everything that went into that, very, very cool, actually.
Yes.
It's the mark of just all of the awesome. And so it's a cool celebration for sure. But, it's always creeped me out. And so I told them leading up to Disney that It's a Small World was the ride that you never saw anyone come out of, right? You always see the things of the boats going in and you never see anybody coming out. And there just so happened to be a video that I was watching where, a boat came out of the thing empty. And I'm like, see? So this is what happens. You never survive. It's a small world. You go in there and you become one of the dolls.
Yeah.
And this is something they could totally like get behind because they're big FNAF kids, and that's what the animatronics are in FNAF. They're like the souls of the backstory of FNAF is creepy. So that was the thing. And, I was trying to freak them out of the small world so they didn't want to write it. But of course, Scout wanted to write it because she likes the creepy stuff, or so we thought.
Yes.
And she ended up loving it. And so after every traumatic experience at Disney, of which she had a lot, her thing was, can we go on It's a Small World? So we rode that ride quite a number of times.
Yeah, I guess that backstory was necessary for it to make sense why I said that it's a creepy happy place, because you had, fed them a line of bullshit about how children don't survive this ride.
Yeah.
And then that's all she wanted to do, and just like curl up with herself and scroll through It's a Small World Happy Land.
Yeah. She needed it. I don't know. That became her happy place. And it was very weird. I wouldn't have expected that from her. I honestly thought she was going to get more into the thrill stuff and the want to
Yeah.
ride the spooky stuff again. I mean, not that anything at Disney is spooky, but she was definitely traumatized by a whole lot of Disney.
Well, so I have not seen her top 3 list. Now I know the top 1. Before we went to Disney and experienced all of this together, before I went through all of her trauma with her, there is no way, if you asked me before we go to Disney, what is Scout's number 1 most cool, exciting thing going to be? There's no way I would put It's a Small World even in a top 5 list. Like, that wouldn't make it.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the things that I would have put on the list, like, oh, she's going to love this and that, I bet they're not on there at all.
Yeah, I know. It was really wild with her because I figured she would do It's a Small World and think it's the most boring thing in the world and never want to do it again. And all of the really kind of thrilling rides, she would have been begging us to take her back on. Hello? Are you going to come say hi? Hold on. Go over here.
That's not the camera, love. There you are.
There it is. Hi. How are you? So since you're here, do you want to tell the people about your trip?
You don't need to see it. You can just turn around. There you are. Now we can see it. Now don't collapse the chair.
Sit down carefully. Freaking me out.
There you are.
Oh, you want the microphone? You want the microphone?
And 2 turntables?
Stitch is obviously my favorite character. It's kind of look at him. Look at him.
Stitch is adorable. Hey, did you have fun at Disneyland, though?
Yes.
You enjoyed it?
Yes, besides the fact besides the fact we went on the Tower of Terror.
Yeah, we talked about the Tower of
That thing
Terror.
sucked.
You said that you were no longer afraid of elevators.
So, when we got on, I said to my sister right before that, if I don't scream, I have gotten over my fear. But I know I didn't really mean that because I didn't scream. I was just like,
Did you not scream because you couldn't?
yeah, basically. Oh, actually, fun fact, Jake over here, my dad, he was about to ask me if I was okay because I was being weird. And then the camera came up, like we were all the way up there, and there was the camera, and he immediately was like, from here, then he just went, and so he was the only person who was actually ready for the camera. So that's a fun thing. And Mom was, I'm pretty sure, screaming her face off. And Awen was screaming her face off. And Dad was smiling. And I looked like I was about to throw up. I'm just like...
Yeah. We're going to share the picture of all 4 of us from that camera on this podcast. So everyone will get to see. We're gonna have to do more than one episode on Disney, so we'll have to have you come back to talk about your other experiences. You definitely have to talk about Incredicoaster.
We were about to board. I thought, oh no, this isn't gonna go too fast because it was like slow at the first part. Then it stopped, and Dash said 3, 2, 1, go, and I just like it started zooming, like no stop at all, just up, down, up, down, up, down. It was very scary. Splash Mountain was too. And the Tower of Terror. Why does Disneyland have so many scary rides? Oh, and also...
How are you? Yeah. Bedroom.
It's still like Pinocchio just creeping up over the back of the chair, though.
Oh, here, hold the microphone and say hi to people.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
This is amazing with the performance while she's looking at the monitor. Obviously not on camera,
She's not at all on
but feeling
camera.
like she's on camera. Like this, so we got some
This
spatial
entire podcast
recognition
has gone
problems.
so far off the rails.
I am looking forward to this being my first edit.
Okay, so Aowen, I want you to tell the peoples about your experience with the Tower of Terror.
So when we went on Tower of Terror, there was like a rocket animatronic, and he was like explaining that he was gonna go like on top of the elevator and like free his friends, but we had to use the hand scan so he could get on to the elevator, and then we were on it, and there was like we went backwards, and then we went up, and we went down, and then we went up, and we went down, and then we went up, and there was like the window thing opened, and we were outside, and there it was like showed outside, and then my dad was about to ask Scout if she was okay, but like he knew that the camera was right there, so it was going down, and he was just like. And then it just like was going up and down. Then it was like scenes of Rocket freeing his friends, and then like that was the ride, and it was super fun for
That
you.
sounds like you actually remember which directions it went. I was
Yeah.
totally turned around. I had no idea which way we were going.
I know she totally remembers way more about this ride than I do. How's your leg after all that? Because I was grabbing onto it the whole time.
All right, yeah, I'm fine.
Did it hurt pretty bad?
No,
It didn't.
no. I feel like an old news reporter. I'm sorry, my sister is so weird.
Wow. That's where we're going.
Remember when we hit the brakes too soon? There you go. And everyone was like, Dad and me, we were super excited before the ride, and you and Scout weren't. And then Dad was scared, and you were scared, and Scout was scared after the ride, and I was the same.
That's scared.
After the ride, he looked way different. He looked very pale.
Dad was concerned with the experience that
Yes.
Scout had just had. Yeah.
Dad, you need to explain your situation on the ride.
So yeah, my situation was I was sitting next to Scout, and we'd already coaxed and cajoled her into riding it in the first place, and then we sit down. We were behind you two. We sit down. They pull the vest down, pull the restraint down, and the first thing she says is, "I don't think I'm big enough to be in this ride." And I look over, and it's pretty loose in there. So I put a hand on her leg to hold her down right about the time we start rolling out of the station. And, you know, we do the slow start and the coaster stops, and then it goes from 0 to whatever its top speed is in about 2.5 seconds. And when it launched, she started screaming. And she only stopped screaming at the top of her lungs like she was dying to take a breath to start again. And that was the entire ride. I was holding her into the seat, and she was screaming bloody murder. So, yeah. By the time we got to the end, I was so fucking thankful it was over.
You lied to me. You said that I was fine and it wasn't loose. You lied to me.
What I told you is that Disney would not let someone your size on the ride if it wasn't safe.
Yeah, I legit would have been like, I am so glad that, because that was the thing anyway. I told her, like, pro tips for riding a roller coaster: always go with the biggest person in your party, because you get squished in more, right? And that's true of like old school roller coasters or whatever.
Right.
But there's, that's not how things are really built anymore. So whatever. And so she was going to go with you regardless. But I'm super glad that she didn't end up with me for that, because I am a panicker whenever the kids there's something going on or whatever. And you're like the only one that keeps everything cool and level headed. And I would have just been, I don't know. I think,
When you're going 60 miles an hour around a roller coaster track, like, you have no choice.
yeah, by
There's
the end of
nothing
that,
for
though,
it.
I would have been like freaking out and screaming and crying and sobbing and just like ready to break down by the time that
Mm,
freaking thing came back to the station. Like
yeah.
what
Mm,
you described and like the way she is, because she very rarely ever like gets freaked out by anything.
yeah.
But when she does, when she cries, when she whatever, you know that it's serious.
Yeah.
As
It
opposed to
was.
Baymax over here who cries all the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
she just cries because it's Monday.
I love how the camera has focused all of its white balance onto Baymax and the actual focus. We're all blurry back here.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey guys, we are going to bring you on for another podcast like about Disney and like interview you properly, but this isn't really the exact setup for it. So,
you didn't even tell us to come here. I just popped my head in with all my primers and I'm just like, hey.
yeah, this is a crazy impromptu thing. So, how about we leave and
How do I say this nicely? Go away.
we can interview you guys
Yeah.
when you're less chaotic. But hey, come over here and tell the people bye. Goodbye. Okay, well, I mean, I don't even know what to do after all of that. So,
Yeah.
that was a moment.
Well, we covered a lot of things we'll need to recover about Disney. I'm actually going to have to watch this back and see how much of Disney we covered, but we'll need a second episode at least to finish recounting the Disney experience.
Yeah, I almost feel like we need to get them in for a proper interview too, because I am also a little bit not knowing what to do at this point because I don't know what all of that just was and if any of it's going to be included in the edit. So,
Yeah, we may need to bring them in purposefully with a little structure.
right. So, just covering all bases, the they we are talking about is the Soap and Clay
Oh,
Kidlets. They
yeah.
came in and they they chose chaos
Oh, you mean in case we just cut all that out?
in case it
when
all
we
gets
see
removed.
it?
I really don't know. I mean, they were all like all over the place with the microphones and the doing of the things and the
Yeah.
bouncing of the stuff. I don't know. I don't know how much of that is actually salvageable.
Yeah, it was intense.
So yeah, Soap and Clay Kidlets came in. They chose chaos, and we may or may not have left that in the video. But it has been decided as a result of all of that that we're gonna do another episode and maybe interview them on their Disney experiences because
Yeah, they seem interested in contributing to
they
this
sure do.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some opinions.
So, we promised the people that episode 3 would be about Disney, and we have delivered.
Kinda.
Yeah, we've talked about Disney. We said that we would do a series and that Disney might need more than one episode, and that's turned out to be absolutely true. So we're just winning. We've been completely honest on this podcast. We're just nailing it.
I don't like that though.
Because it's accidental.
Yeah, that we actually did something, but we didn't really do anything of real note when it came to the Disney stuff, just kind of random talking
Yeah.
about stuff and then chaos ensued and so now it's feeling chaotic and unstructured. And, you know, as much as I joke about us being unstructured, we have some sort of structure that we kind of follow.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not typically devolving into chaos.
I mean, I am here.
Not the parts that we publish.
Well, I mean, the good news is on this, especially if any of the stuff with the kidlets ends up staying in. Last episode, they all got to watch you just like slowly die as I was talking about Taylor Swift Easter eggs.
Okay. So we had already broached that conversation, and you were talking about the Karma video and the thumbnails, and there's just so much minutia involved in this video that I saw one time. Like, I've not gone back and watched that again. I wasn't impressed with the video in the first place. It just sort of felt like organized chaos to me with everything that was in it. And then you're describing all of it, and I was lost. Not really dying inside, just no clue what is being said right now.
Yep, accurate. And they got to see it all. I was gonna put really funny things in, like, you know, the meme with the gal and like all the mathematical equations going around, or that going around your head as you're trying to figure out what the hell it
Right.
is that I'm saying and whatever.
And I'm just glazed over.
Or like with the earring thing. The earring, like a really weird, it's really weird. I said it like 12 times
Yes.
and I just left them all in. I don't, like I said, when I edit, it's mostly everything's going to be left in because I don't, cuts take time.
But because it was all left in, now weird earring that has to become a thing.
It's a weird earring, like a really weird, like a, like a really, yeah, yep,
Yeah. I'm just picturing a spider web every time you say that now.
sure.
Like just a Halloween earring, which is not really that weird. It's just sort of normal if it's, I guess, if you're emo or it's Halloween time.
Right.
They always tell about Hot Topic.
I thought they were coming back.
Oh, please no. Once was enough.
It's super funny how we're like talking about Disney experience and we're like, children, please go away. So yeah, the overall experience with Disney, again, 5 days. It was fun. It was a good time. And I think the right amount of time for us to just experience everything at our own pace, not having to deal rather with having to juggle, pool time because we live in the Pacific Northwest. There are no swimming pools. That is not a thing.
Yeah.
And so you go down to California and like obviously you want to go hang out at the pool. And so in doing that though, you could be cutting into your very precious Disney time.
Right.
But
yeah,
we
and if
didn't
you're
have to
just
worry
there
about
for a
that.
couple of days, that's an issue.
Yeah.
As it was, 5 days was the perfect amount of time because we didn't really need the park the 5th day.
Yeah.
I went in for coffee, which was an interesting adventure.
Yeah, you went all the way over to Galaxy's Edge for coffee.
Yeah, that was the big cold brew we hadn't been able to try because the place closed early or something.
Yeah,
We tried to go too late, whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, so our final morning there, that was the last chance to get the cold brew that started it all, from
Right.
what we were told.
Yeah.
And it's clear on the other side of the park.
Yeah, we were told that the night before and we hadn't been able to find it when we were in Galaxy's Edge. So that was
Yeah.
really wild and you went over there. But see, that's a whole story in and of itself. So, I mean, I said in the last episode that we needed time because I still needed to process Disney or whatever, but this one ended up completely unstructured. For Disney, we're going to actually have to structure it. We're going to talk about the adventures we went on with our cold brew and our churros and our pins. We're going to talk about our cool idea for the pin thing that we're going to do next time. We're going to talk about the Disney dinosaur.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely.
Yeah. And we're going to, interview the kids, 1 or 2 of them. Maybe.
That's a lot to cover in one episode.
Might be 3 episodes. Might
So-
be nothing but Disney.
So this was a loose synopsis of what is coming for the Disney conversation. This is not actually episode 1. It's just an introduction.
Yeah, the overall, whatever of this is pretty good. It's chaotic because
That's still how everyone's feeling about it.
it was pretty chaotic.
It sort of was, but like it wasn't overwhelming. It was, structured chaos. It was fun chaos, I
Mm.
guess.
It was fun chaos.
We had plans. Every morning we had plans, and by every afternoon we just completely abandoned them.
Did we have plans?
Kind of. I was distracted by corn dogs and churros, though, which is part of our conversation.
Well, you
Like-
borked the entire operation day 1 with this corn dog bullshit. Man,
This is a story for another time.
why is it a story for another time? Just tell about your bad decisions. No, like that was interesting. Just day one, we're gonna get breakfast corn dogs, and they were nary a breakfast corn dog to be had.
Well, as Scout likes to say, I was lied to. Like, you got early park access and everything opens at 8 a.m. or whatever, but nothing's open at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
Nothing's open at 7:30 for your early access. Yeah, you could walk in the gate, but everything's still closed down.
yeah,
So there were no breakfast corn dogs because there were no corn dogs at all, because the corn dog stands that serve breakfast corn dogs don't open until 10.
yeah.
And you've got to feed the kids. That's a crucial thing. Make sure that everyone has consumed something before you get into the park.
Yeah, that was mistake number 1 for us because again, we just assumed, cool, it said corn dogs were going to be available. Awesome. Let's make some bad decisions right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
And so we didn't get anything at the hotel. Not that there was a lot to be had.
Yeah,
That's a story too.
that is a story. Yeah.
I'm super irritated at Disney. Like this is some capitalist bullshit
Yeah, there are definitely pieces that were irritating.
that I'm now just like angry about. as if I haven't always known that Disney is capitalist bullshit.
Right.
And I love it so hard, but now I'm mad.
I woke up today and realized Disney's just trying to get my money.
It's so weird. How dare you? Okay, but last thing then,
Yeah.
talking about that, because we'll leave it at that after this because, whatever, Disney can do no wrong. I'll put up in the thing a picture that I took in front of the firehouse as soon as we walked into Disney, of the three of you. And that just I mean, I had already cried, I think, 3 times before we actually got to the firehouse.
Yes, which is right inside the gate.
Right. And so I had already cried 3 times. I
Yes.
think that's an accurate number. And as soon as I saw the firehouse and I saw the lamp up there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, everybody go play a pose in front of the thing, and I'm taking your picture, and I'm crying. And you guys are just like, why are we posing in front of this firehouse?
Mom really likes fire trucks today.
Yeah, and I'm like, y'all don't. I feel like you don't listen to me when I talk.
Right after you took that picture, before you approached us again, I whispered to the kids, like, go look at the fire truck and pretend you care.
It wasn't even the fire truck.
I know. Just trying to get them to take some interest.
It's just, and whatever. I prepped them for almost everything at Disney. You know what I mean? Well, I like the history of Walt Disney. Man, the innovation, and to think that all of this came from some man-child who just is really into trains and dinosaurs,
Yeah, when you boil it all down to that.
It's astounding. The only thing I did not prepare them for, though, was Abe Lincoln.
How do you prepare someone for that? No.
For the little story thing. And then when Abe Lincoln showed up, and he stands up and starts talking or whatever, the animatronic, whoever was sitting next to me was like, is this real? That's the success of a really good animatronic right there.
Yeah, which is how old?
I know, it's from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's insane what they did back then.
Yeah, because I think that was a prototype when they were working on, because he had this whole idea that he wanted to do the Hall of Presidents, which I think is at, Disney World. And I don't know if they have all of the presidents there. That seems like a lot, but maybe they do. I have no idea. I don't remember all of them being there when I was at Disney World, but that was a long time ago.
That is a lot of presidents.
Yeah, it's a lot of presidents. But that was the big prototype, was the Abe Lincoln thing in Disneyland. But yeah, they weren't really prepared for what that was. I did not tell them what the whole thing was, that this was we're just gonna sit down. I think they thought we were just watching a movie. And then all of a sudden, Abe Lincoln standing up out of a chair.
To that, one of the kids asking if it's real, and it's one of the original attractions in the park. I think it would be fascinating if you could go back and experience Disneyland with a 1960s mind.
Oh, yeah.
With a comprehension.
Yeah.
To see that in 1964 instead of 2023, when it's fooling 2023 children today.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they're all high tech, and they have all of the highest of the graphics and CGI and all the things.
Yeah.
And for them to be like, is that a real person? It was very interesting.
How have you done this?
Right.
Well, Walter's on ice, right? Waiting to be.
That's what they say. They say that his head's buried underneath in the Matterhorn, or on top of Big Thunder, or in the cemetery at the Haunted Mansion. He's not. He's buried in that, the place, that cemetery where everybody from LA got buried during that time.
Oh, yeah.
That famous place.
Woodland Lawn or something like
Starts
that.
with an F, I thought. I don't know. But yeah, that's the thing. I think it would be cool if that was true and he was frozen and he came back. They were able to unthaw him.
Yeah, he was a visionary. It would be awesome to see what he could have continued to accomplish.
He'd probably be mad at us. He'd probably be mad at everybody in Disney. You messed it up.
For making it all capitalist?
You didn't allow J.K. Rowling to have a train, and so we don't have Harry Potter.
He would have been a Harry Potter train.
Yeah. Fan. How dare you say no to another train? I love trains.
Yeah, I think Walt would have definitely said yes to a Hogwarts Express.
Yeah, I agree. He totally would have. He would have been down. And,
And that would be his only motivating factor is the thing. Like, it wouldn't matter that there's any sort of controversy around J.K. Rowling. He could not even know what Harry Potter was. But if someone came to him and said, another train, he would say, yes, please.
ah, well, I mean, at that point, there wasn't any controversy when Rowling was shopping that to
Oh,
be a theme
right,
park,
yeah.
because that
Harry
was
Potter was
forever
just a big
ago.
cash machine.
That was before you and I got married.
Yeah.
And yeah, that Disney passed. That's the only reason Universal had it. I mean, just imagine they would own every IP of any real value, period,
Yeah,
if they had not passed.
someone's got to be kicking themselves over that.
Yeah.
Because they do own everything.
Yeah.
Except that.
Right. Like, that's the IP that they don't own. It's so crazy to me.
Whoever let that slip through their fingers probably no longer employed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that is a fact. They are no longer employed, like, because the Avatar thing didn't go well. All the money that they, like, because they did this thing in response because Universal Studios was becoming an actual, like, a viable place to go in Orlando, instead of you go to Orlando for Disney and then also while you're there you can go to Universal for a day and see Jurassic Park, because that piece of shit ride's still there.
Why do you hate Jurassic Park so much?
I don't like that ride.
You and Walt would not be friends because he loves dinosaurs.
He would not love Jurassic Park because he doesn't own that IP. But yeah, no, they did the thing, and in response, because Universal was actually putting in better numbers than Disney for like the first time ever, Disney decided to sink like $1 billion into Avatar Land, and it did not go well. Just across the board, it did not go well. There was the people that are the tall people, the aliens or whatever, on the Isle of Naboo. I mean, I don't know anything about Avatar, but it's a planet that they go on, and there's tall people that live on that planet. And
that's what I know about it. There are tall aliens and it's set in space.
And the humans were trying to like colonize it, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I mean, that's what we're always trying to do, yeah.
And so in this park that they built at Disney World, none of the tall ones, you're on that planet in that area. That's the immersion. So you're on that planet. And none of the tall ones are there. They're just in pictures and stuff around. And it's annoying, kind of like the Star Wars place is annoying, because none of the signs are in English.
Oh.
So you don't know where the bathrooms are.
Right.
So there's that, just for the whole immersion thing, whatever. But none of the tall people are around. There are none tall people.
Did they
They're
have
just
like
in
cardboard
pictures.
cutouts?
No.
Wow.
No. And so it's just the humans. And so what that says to me, based on my very limited understanding of Avatar, is that the thing that the humans did to go colonize this planet and destroy the aliens was a success.
Yes. So is that why people didn't like Avatar Land?
No, I just think they didn't like it because it's an IP that's too hard to really immerse yourself in unless you're a super geek. And so it wasn't...
And there are 9-foot tall aliens walking about.
It wasn't accessible enough. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't easy to grasp. But I guess it's done well since, because they are breaking ground on an Avatar Land at Disneyland right now.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was still open at Disney World.
Yeah.
I just thought Avatar was one of those things that got a lot of publicity and hype, but was never really that great.
I mean, I thought the movie was absolute shit, but listen, it took me 15 years to watch it. So whatever. But the second one just came out and made all of the money.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So, I mean, apparently it's good, actually.
I watched the first one within a couple of years of it coming out and watched it one time, didn't care for it, don't really remember it. Zero desire to watch a sequel, watch a second one.
Yeah, I love long movies. Like, I love long movies. I love long form anything. I have none problems. The longer, the better. But when I tell you that it took me 15 years to watch that movie, I mean, it was like every 20 minutes I had to just pause it and walk away for a few hours and then come back because I was so bored. Now, granted, it's definitely a different experience watching it in the, theater, because that's what it was built for.
Sure.
All of the animation and CGI and 3D-ness and, words that I don't understand. And so I was not watching it like that. I was just watching it on a regular little TV. But I hated it. It was boring.
Yeah. I don't remember it well enough to even remember being bored. I do remember that it was supposed to be groundbreaking CGI techniques and all these big deals that don't matter anymore. So, again, I don't understand why a sequel did so well, but I don't know anything at all about the sequel either.
Same. So yeah, that's it. That's all. We'll go back to Disney and we're going to talk about it more later, but this is going to be miserable to fucking edit. This is your first editing job, huh?
It's excellent practice.
This podcast is being filmed on Monday, the June's, the 11th or 12th.
The 12th.
Uh-huh. It might never see the light of day.
We're going to shoot for...
Saturday.
What is Saturday? I'm just trying to figure that out. Today's 5 days?
Sure.
The 17th.
There you go.
That's this weekend sometime.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's a lot going on in this one. This is a difficult edit.
It might end up being 30 minutes long.
Yeah, it might just be like the first 30 minutes where it's like, oh, okay, cool. We're actually talking and it's fine. And then chaos ensues.
Yeah, I'll just put a little screen up that says we'll talk about Disney next week and then, roll credits.
Mm-hmm. We're only here for our intro and outro music.
Editing success right there.
Yeah. But right on. Thanks for joining me for another round of this.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I almost said soapy fun this time, but I stopped.
I think it'd be funny if you just said soapy fun every time. Like, why not?
Yeah. I'm going to get better at it.
It's right there. But what would the catchphrase be? I mean, you have that. You've been saying that. I think join me for another round of soapy fun. Join us for another round of what? Unstructured chaos?
Yeah.
Incoherent ramblings? We need to come up with something catchy. Thanks for joining us for another round of random musings.
Soapy fun.
Soapy Disney.
Disney fun. Taylor fun. Somebody commented on the first podcast and said, I don't like Taylor Swift. Can I still watch the podcast? Which I showed you. And then they deleted their comment because I think they actually got too far into the video and went, oh no, this bitch, she doesn't stop talking
Like it
about
really
Taylor
is just Taylor Swift. Well, if they left the comment, the response would be, of course you can still watch, but if you don't like Taylor Swift, I'm not certain this is the place for you.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of really boring stuff, But yeah, so there's that. This is Pinocchio and this is Dumbo. And we didn't talk about our bag experience either. We've got so much stuff that we didn't talk about.
The bag experience intertwines with the whole experience, with shopping advice and last day at the park and all sorts of things tie in with the bag experience.
Yeah, because we actually do have a lot of good advice stuff. I'm saying we could go give a Disney food blog a run for their money with all the good advice we have for Disney to make your life much easier just after that 5 days that we experienced there.
Yeah, because we were looking at things like that. Like, you need to know this before you go to Disney and this, that, and the other, crucial, whatever. And then we get there, and I think within 2 days, we had our own list of like, we have family members planning on going later. Like, we need to tell them this, this, and this. And none of that was
all the shit
included
that
in
was
the
never
information that
covered.
we were trying to gather.
In the hundreds of hours of videos that I watched in preparation for Disney for this year, current shit.
Yeah.
Because there are just millions of Disney travel videos out there. It's so wild.
Yeah, that's insane.
But yeah, out of all the hundreds and hundreds of hours of those videos I watched, all of the things that we actually needed, none of it was talked about.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah, no, we thought we were prepared. And then, second morning, we're like, okay,
Right.
well, here's a bunch of things that didn't go right yesterday that we completely weren't prepared for. No one told us about. So this is going on the list of tell everyone if they go into Disney.
Exactly.
Yeah, we probably should share that list. It's like, practical knowledge.
Exactly. Well, I mean, stay tuned for next week when we've changed our podcast name to Disney Bubble Soapbox Society.
That rolls off the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Disney Bubble Soapbox Society.
Yep. We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
All right.
Right.
Bye, you guys. Thank you for joining us and stuff. We're gonna leave.
If you're seeing this, I can't believe you made it to the end. But
I know.
Love you. Bye forever.
Bye. We should make them awards for making it all the way to the end. We should do funny things.